for it to come online.
They don't think it's a heart attack, but
Ray?
probably wasn't a false meeting. I think that'd be a hot day thing.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Fry.
Present.
Keating.
Present.
Snellings.
Present.
Bikeman. Gurecki. Price.
Here.
Behrens.
Here.
Crum.
Here.
Six.
First up, we have the approval of the minutes from the regular meeting on September 12th.
Move approved minutes, regular meeting September 12th, 2022 as written.
Second.
Okay. Any further discussion, changes? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 6-0. Next up, we have public comment. Is anybody here for 5-minute public comment? I think Morgan wants to speak real quick. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I got an 05 Dodge Ram. It's been in the back of my property. I put on back burner for a while. I apologize. I'm gonna fix it up and get it out of there or something. I just need a little bit more time if that's okay. I mean, I don't know how much more time I get, but probably about a week and a half I'd be okay. I had a lot of things go downhill for me, so I'm just trying to get it back and fixed up, so.
30 days.
You can ask for 30 days.
You can ask for 30.
Okay, I'm gonna get it done.
Okay.
I've just been busy doing a lot more than my wife passed away, so having kids is kind of rough on me. So I'm trying to do the best. I'm gonna get it fixed up and out of there.
What is it again, so I get
It's
it
an
from them?
05 Dodge Ram.
What's the address?
I'm gonna get the tags on it and stuff, so it's not sitting there like that.
And
What's
the
your address?
407 North 12.
There you go.
I got it cleaned, there's stuff that was around it, I got it cleaned up to where it doesn't look that bad. I got the parts, some of the parts came in, I just haven't put them in it. It's just been sitting there. I said I had it on the back burner, so I should get it done.
You want to do 30 days from October 1st or 30 days from today?
Should probably be from today.
I don't care. What would that make it then?
The 26th of October. Because there's 30 days in September.
You want a motion?
Yes, please.
I make a motion that we give him till October 26th.
Second.
Okay. Any further discussion?
Okay?
That's fine with me. It gives me enough time. I'll get it done.
Okay.
I appreciate
And
it, guys.
it is not tagged, but it will be tagged?
It will be tagged. I got it.
Okay.
I'm gonna
Just
get it tagged.
Double check. Okay.
Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you very much, guys.
All right, thank you. Take care, Morgan. Anybody else here for 5-minute public comment? Oh,
I don't know where she is.
well, I guess we will. The auditor's not here yet, so we'll have to move that on further down on the agenda, I guess. And she didn't say she wasn't
She
going to be
didn't
here.
say she wasn't
did
coming, but
So we'll skip number 1 for now and move on to number 2, the MHS homecoming tailgate party.
Move to approve United Bank and Trust requests.
Second. Okay, any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, 6-0. Next we have the black squirrel placement from the Chamber Building, Pepsi, and the other location on the Kester block by the Santa House, I believe, wasn't it?
Yeah. Move to approve Black Squirrels on Parade, placing the squirrels on city property.
Second.
Okay. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 6-0. Next we have the ordinance number 1912 on the UTVs.
Move to approve ordinance 1912, amended version.
Second.
Okay. Any discussion about the ordinance?
The amending on this one was just the placement of the sticker in the
Flag,
And the
high
flag,
visibility flag,
1 foot over the canopy.
1 foot over the canopy, that's correct.
Okay. Roll call?
Fry,
Yes.
Keating,
Yes.
Snellings,
Yes.
no Bikeman, no Guaraki, Price,
Yes.
Behrens,
Yes.
Rom,
Yes.
it passes.
6-0.
And just to clarify, it takes effect January 1,
Correct, it does say that.
2023. Well, yeah, I just, out loud.
Good deal.
Out.
Yes, yes, yes. So nobody panics.
Panic on it.
No panics.
Okay. Next up, we have the Boy Scout cabin furnace replacement quotes.
Yes, move to approve low bid of $2,075.03.
Second.
Okay, any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 6-0. Next, we have the information on the intermodal storage containers.
So this was requested by the governing body, a previous council meeting. This is the most recent information, and it doesn't go all the way back when we started conversations about it. There's two methodologies to this. One was an ordinance amending our code. The other one was an ordinance amending our zoning regulations. Zoning regulations was a lengthy process, and then the code book was a little bit, it's pretty subdued in the process. The last time the council in 2021 sent it to the planning commission to discuss. After discussion, the planning commission made the recommendation to leave the moratorium in place and not allow containers in Marysville. That's where it was left at this point, at that point in time. I think it's been the preference that if the council were to go forward with something, it should be in ordinance form versus, in their code book versus in the ULDC, as it is less intrusive in the book, and I think in the ULDC, it was set up to, the planning commission would have to meet every time and talk about it every time somebody wanted to put one of these in, which is not standard for any other building other than a commercial building. So that was just some discussion, some background.
But on the other hand, I think we need to take them on a case-by-case. Instead of just opening up the slate to, just because you live on this side of town, you can put them, but you can't put them here. I mean, so I think it needs to be opened up slate by slate, site by site,
Okay.
and come back to either this body or the planning commission. I don't care which body it goes to, but I think they need to be a site-by-site basis myself.
Adding on to that too, is I think the people that want them need to come up with a plan.
A building permit, right?
You're gonna get a building permit, but no, I think they need to come with a plan, because the reason I say this, I've had lots of questions about, just like we had here the other night, of taking one on each side, spanning them with rafters and having a deal. And I don't think that's a terrible idea, because number one, it can give cover for some people with bigger equipment, and it gives them affordable cover without having to go super in depth.
Right.
But if they're painted, they're shingled, some of them will start to blend in where you don't see them. And that's why they need to come up with a plan, and I think it needs to be reasonable of what they're gonna do, when they're gonna do it, where it's gonna be at. You know, I mean,
I'm like Parker, I think they need to look like a regular household item, and the roof needs to have a pitch to it. They need to be painted the same colors that your property, if your house is great. you can
Same
paint it
color,
great.
it should fit in with the color palette of what you have.
Probably need to put on some sort of substrate, whether it's rocks or piers or concrete.
Or something, yeah.
There's such a weather-tight item, they'd make an excellent shed for a lot of people.
An affordable shed
They're
Yeah.
very affordable.
compared to trying to build one.
Yeah.
Well, and I believe Lincoln, I think you've seen them, I know I've seen them, up in Lincoln, they have houses built out of them.
I've seen them
I've
too.
been in them.
And unless you really stare hard, sometimes you drive by them, you don't see them.
Yeah.
I think with the right rules, regulations, maybe not using the correct words there, I think that we can come up with something that is, everybody can get along with. And I'm like Kevin, I don't think one side of town gets them over another side of town. I don't think that's fair at all.
Well, I mean, well,
But if you read this,
right,
if you read this, you're about 95% there.
so like you
That-
got color right there.
Color.
Yeah.
The only thing I didn't see
Anchoring
is the roof.
foundation.
Well, and I think what we need to have a definition of a roof. And the reason I say that is, the state's notorious for taking them, cement blocks and putting them aluminum rafters and covering them with the, tarp, like our sand salt shed is. That's not necessarily a pitched roof, but it is a roof.
Right.
So that's the reason I say is, if somebody wanted to do that, to park like big trucks underneath to get them out of the weather and stuff, I can't argue that too much. You know what I mean? I mean, it'd look nice. As long as they take care of it, because when things become dilapidated, we have a step process to take care of.
Right.
So it'd be like a building permit as well?
I-
I mean, they'd have to be able to fit on a
Yeah.
lot, correct? I mean, the
Yeah,
same as the lot area now? Okay,
I don't think you can change the lot thing just for a container.
okay.
Because I think there's a couple in town that look they blend in quite well.
They do.
Whereas there's some sheds that are
Horrendous.
horrendous.
Yeah.
and
But
they're
that's,
allowed.
but that's where I want this little bit of, because I think if somebody truly wants it, they'll come in and they'll say something and they will move forward with it.
And I think if they do it, we need to give them like 120 days or whatever.
Reasonable.
You know,
reasonable.
a time frame on it to get it in, get it painted, get the roof on it, you know.
It's not a 2-year project. I don't believe it's a 1-year project to do one. Depending on how they do it, I don't know what problems they'd run into.
So you want,
No, like
you
right
want
now,
planning and zoning to talk about this? Or how do you want to handle?
I don't know. I need input on that because I don't know exactly where to go with that.
I mean, they usually they look at the building permits and use permitted upon review,
Right.
both ways.
Is the planning committee still the same one that was there last time?
I'm sure it's probably been,
It's been a year. Yeah, I don't know, however,
I lost
when
my
they
spot.
wear out, expire, wear out sometimes.
Yeah.
We just put new ones on and you guys approve them, so I can't say who was on the last time you knew.
Yeah.
I don't think they're all the same people that wrote this letter, no. I think they have
It's changed
changed,
since
if that's what you're asking.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking.
Yes, there has been some turnover.
Well, I think we can need to set some rules and guidelines, because I think, you know, I think there is a place for them to put in some neighborhoods, but not every neighborhood.
I don't think to me, it's not so much about the neighborhood as you just follow your standard setbacks and other rules.
Exactly.
Like you would if they were building a one-car garage.
Exactly.
You have to have,
That's written in here, the
Yeah.
only thing
A
I don't
house.
see is the part about the roof.
Because I don't think
So
we
they-
had the roof in
The
there,
roof
did
wasn't
we?
on.
No,
it.
roof-
so they are an accessory building, correct? So you'd have to have
Yes.
a establishment and then okay.
I guess the roofs, they don't hold water, so I'm not overly concerned about the roof, generally speaking, but,
The roof just makes them blend in.
yeah.
I mean, what it does, it brings your level of commitment of taking care of it too.
But could it be like a single slope, kind of flat roof, pretty much anything, just to make it
Sheds
blend.
water.
Sheds
Sheds
water.
water.
Yep, that's really what we're after. See, my thing I see a lot of people talk about is putting one in and when they build the roof, they make a carport spot.
Yeah.
You're getting ideas already.
Yeah, I wonder how that affects, evaluations.
I don't know that, but I would tell you, I have one at my house, and it does, right away, because it doesn't have guttering, made pretty good divots down the side of mine, where it came off the roof.
Well,
Mine's
but
on
that's a
rock,
question,
so I
is do you
haven't had-
evaluate it as a shed or not then?
That's probably more for the county.
Right, that's not,
Yeah,
that's
that's
not
not
my
our
They
thing.
have special rules for portable sheds. I mean, I know I believe that's a thing in our
That's really not our deal.
zoning, yeah.
No, it's
adds
not,
evaluation.
it's not a
Adds
thing.
value.
It's, you place a shed on your property, it's permanent.
So even if it's got wheels?
Right.
So what about a cargo trailer? Is that a shed?
Cargo trailer.
No, it's a trailer, it has to be
It's a trailer.
tagged. It has a
Not
tag.
if it's small enough, it doesn't have to be
No.
tagged.
That's what they don't, yeah, some people
So
haven't
there's a
figured that out
wrinkle.
yet.
It's a trailer.
In the city, everything has to have has to have a building permit, whether it's on skids or on blocks or on cement or whatever it is. A carport has to have a building permit even. Because Dave Richardson said I used to do that all the time, and 1 year later I'd come back and all of a sudden it was enclosed, and now it's a garage. And they didn't get a building permit, so. Even decks get building permits,
But not patios.
not patios, not concrete.
I think we need to send it back to them, have them look at it. Kick our ideas back and forth, you know?
Okay. Maybe we send it back with some notes
Yeah.
going, hey, we are thinking about this still.
And
Yeah.
can we, is there any way we can do a little timeline and have it getting it done so we keep moving forward on this?
So are you wanting to tell the planning commission, because you can make these rules, because originally when they sent it back, it was, how do you feel about this? Now are you sending it back going, we want to get this done, how is the best way to do this? You're pretty fine, because you can make the rules and disregard whatever recommendation. Not that that's negligent or anything, but it's just, yeah.
I don't want the thought process of, well, if we ignore it, it'll go away,
Oh.
Right.
because it's not gonna go away.
3 months for
I think they ought to have it back to us by December,
Yeah, that's
by
what I was gonna
December?
say.
Okay.
January, whatever.
By January, that gives them
yeah.
2 months to
January
do it,
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah, I don't know how often their meetings are.
Once a month.
That gives them 2 meetings to work on it, I think that's
Yeah.
fair.
So you like the ordinance idea versus changing the zoning code?
Right.
And
I
then,
think so.
do you want the, Board of Zoning Appeals or Planning Commission to determine whether or not to grant the permit, or you want that before the council? That's gonna be a major sticking point with them, who's gonna make the decision?
Do you want it to come back to one of the boards, or do you want to make the rules strict to where staff can handle it?
I guess what.
Because this would be the only thing that comes before council, other than if they're looking to get
Extension or-
not an extension, but, just in general, an engineering study on stormwater. I think that's one of the only things that comes before the council, as far as buildings go.
I think if we set the rules the way we want, then Will or whoever grants building permits, as long as those rules are adhered to, could,
Yeah.
It could just be a building permit,
Yeah,
according to these rules.
yeah.
The,
Appeal on up to the council.
right, if it gets denied.
right.
Yep. Okay.
And you like to see something about roofs
Yes.
on the, okay.
Sheds water.
Sheds
Yeah.
water.
Yeah, I think that's probably the best
Slope
terminology.
roof of some sort, either single slope or
Just-
pitched or
I think
whatever.
shed water.
Yeah.
And a time frame for how long they have to construct or get it in place, is that correct? You said
Yeah.
a time frame, right?
Yep.
You want 120 days?
I'm open for a few opinions on it. I would not go over 120 days. Thing I look at is if you have to order rafters right now, I think they're saying there's like a 2-month lead time for them. So, but I also look at that of being also, if you knew you were gonna do this, you'd order them
Right.
enough in advance, so when you set your deal, you could go right.
Get right on it.
720, Mr. Keith.
yeah. I mean, it's got a placement of 90 days, but you're talking about construction on top of that, so,
I want it done.
yeah, want it done, which
Done.
I
I
get
want
that.
painted,
Yeah.
Roof on, everything.
that way, done.
Done. Okay.
Done,
Done in one day.
completed.
Okay.
If we have to, we can, try to put a fine or something on it for each day they don't,
Do something.
$25 per day.
whatever it's gonna take.
That's what's in there right now.
Yeah.
Okay, right, that's fine.
Nothing magical about 25.
Yeah, it can be more or less, whatever you want.
Okay.
Okay. Move on to the alcohol consumption at the city park for the city employee picnic.
If you haven't seen already, we are planning a picnic this Saturday. Council is invited, in fact encouraged to come. If you haven't already RSVP'd, please tell us.
I did.
There you go. For that picnic, we'd love to have the ability to have alcohol down at City Park. We're not selling it, it'd just be available for the guests. So, any questions, we'll barricade off the area we're gonna have it in.
People are bringing their own.
I would say yes at this point, yes.
I mean,
Right,
somebody's
yes.
gonna ask if the city's buying booze.
Yeah.
No,
and
city
we're not.
is not.
The city is not buying booze.
City is not buying booze.
We are buying food.
Yeah, city is not buying booze.
I'm just putting it on the record.
Yep, that's good. Yes, please, thank you.
Move to approve application for consumption of alcoholic beverages at the city park on October 1st for the city employee picnic.
Second.
Okay. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 7-0.
Yay.
We don't have any notices in hearing. I guess we'll just move on, and if the auditor shows up, we'll get back to it.
I don't know what
Do you have a
happened.
phone number cell phone number?
Yeah, you might, oh, we don't?
No number,
Okay. Well,
just the office.
well, we'll move on and see if,
Can you go back 1 through 5 and just see if, just tell me if it's passed or not?
oh.
Oh, sure,
1
sure.
to 5.
Everything passed.
Yeah.
Everything passed except anything on intermodal?
Intermodal containers, we're still talking about. They want to take that back.
Okay.
Planning and zoning to discuss, and then they'll bring it back to you.
And as you heard, the auditor hasn't showed up yet.
I don't know what happened. I mean,
She was first.
It's supposed to be first.
Yes, supposed
unless
to be
she
first.
just
Forgot.
Well, we'll move on then. We don't have any notices and hearings. Next up is the consent agenda.
Move to approve consent agenda.
Second.
Okay, any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 7-0. Next we have appropriations ordinance number 3781.
Move to approve appropriations ordinance 3781.
Second.
Okay, any discussion about any of the items? Roll call?
Fry,
Yes.
Keating,
Yes.
Snellings,
Yes.
Bikeman,
Yes.
Garaki, Parks,
Yes.
Barons,
Yes.
Rom,
Yes.
7-0.
Okay. Next up we have Austin with the staff reports.
I don't have anything under staff reports at this point in time.
Okay, that keeps us moving. Next we have the standing committee reports. Does anybody have anything on the street?
Yes.
Okay.
We'll just get right into it. When is Hall Brothers supposed to do 16th Street?
I haven't gotten a date on that just yet, but they are working right outside of town.
Okay, reason I ask is, the big hole, I'm gonna say between the cemetery entrance and Debbie Lane.
Okay.
Here's what it is we got a big hole up there. It's getting soft, it's getting worse.
Right.
People are driving to the dump, they're not strapping down their loads, and they're bouncing them out.
Oh,
The neighborhood people are tired of picking up everybody else's mess. So twofold is that we need to get the road fixed, but everybody who drops their stuff needs to stop and pick it up. And a couple gentlemen stop and have conversations with me. Hey, I understand their complaint. I would be too.
Yeah.
I had no problem with it. They didn't realize the street was getting fixed.
Was 16th one of them we were doing?
16th, yep.
No.
16th and 11th Road are both Hall Brothers is gonna work on.
16th is an edge mill and
And a top coat.
relay, right?
Yep,
After they fix a hole in it.
yeah.
Well, that hole's gotten big. I think that's all I got on street.
Right?
How's inline coming on the projects?
They're moving right along. Obviously they got spring, they're working on Frank Marshall right now. They've been doing curb and gutter. I don't know if they're done with all the curb and gutter, but in their break time, they've been getting that curb and gutter done. But moving at a good pace.
So are they the ones replacing the sidewalk down there?
No, we are.
We are?
Yep.
Okay.
We're replacing the sidewalk as well as installing that,
Chargers?
charging station.
They did get the sidewalk to City Park fixed today though, by the tennis courts.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, good.
What about the cement around? Somebody brought it up that there's gravel around the
There's
outside?
gravel as a temporary pathway. Inline actually laid that down as a place for people to walk around. There's no concrete going there as of right now. It's just they use the same gravel they use out on the trail.
It's like decomposed granite.
Right.
So they don't get muddy
So they don't get
while
muddy.
watching the
Yeah.
deals right now.
So right now, we don't have a plan, or, we don't have a project planned around the tennis courts right now.
They are gonna put concrete in between the two.
Yes,
courts.
they'll get that sidewalk done.
Yeah.
I think that brings up a good point, though. We need to kind of keep that on our radar. The parking lot to the north, it needs, I mean,
Right.
they put a lot of money into that. We need to make sure that at least the parking area looks good,
Right,
so.
yeah.
We just need to make some final decisions about down there.
Anybody else have anything on street?
Yeah, I had one, along 10th Street where the Murphy apartments were removed. That sidewalk was rough. It wasn't the demolition necessarily damaging it. I mean, it didn't
No,
do anything
Not
for favors,
altogether, no.
but it was already bad. But a lot of kids walk up through that way between the schools or to school, from school. Kind of twofold. First, the sidewalk, I mean, I don't know where that's gonna fall as far as responsibility. But it definitely needs improved. It's also covered in about 3 inches of mud every time it rains, cause there was nothing put on that big long slope to kind of slow the water down, so it's all that silty, sandy soil. So, I mean, I don't know if that's something where we just need to have a friendly ask to the property owners or what, but since it's a pathway to school, I think it needs a little more attention than some. Kind of just seeing how bad it is makes me think we should have gone ahead and taken a lot of that out at the same time, but maybe nothing would be better. I don't know.
Well, I was pleasantly surprised when I saw that somebody was mowing the property today.
Oh.
The whole property, even though not one person owns the whole property at this point. The whole property got weeded and mowed today, so there might be interest on one of the property owners to help that along.
Kind of connected to that, there's those trees that are still downed in the alley along the power lines there in that block. I think I brought that up not too long after the storm, but that's another one of those. I mean, the alley's a public right of way, so I don't know if that falls to us or not, but if there's any downtime to go drag that out of there, that'd probably be good. You can still see people are traipsing through there, but it looks like a deer path. I mean,
There's still trees down on our properties that the city owns and takes care of that haven't been taken care of yet.
Lions Park's got some issues too. The kids cleaned up there this weekend.
Yeah, my kid was one of them.
That was helpful, thank you. We have some more to do there. There was stuff they couldn't get to, but.
Yeah, or it was a little much for them.
Right.
Yeah.
But it was awesome. They said lot of metal, lot of plastic tires, things that probably has to be addressed coming from the other direction.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you to the
Yeah.
school kids.
Agreed.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
Just to bring the council up to date, I hope to have, the title work's been done on the Murphy property, and the special assessment by the city is reflected of record, and we're now ready to start litigation. I thought I'd have it out last week, I should have it out this week to start the process.
Good. Does anybody else have anything on street? Austin and I went this morning to I guess has to do with streets and roads. We went to the county commissioners to see if they would be willing to contribute some funds towards 11th and 12th and Keystone Road. One commissioner was in favor of doing something. Two of them didn't appear to be willing to do anything. And I completely get where they're coming from, because I think they're afraid if they set this precedent, then every other city is also gonna want money for their roads, and the
Go
county.
good. They should do that then. That's
Yeah.
what they collect taxes for.
Well, but they're just like us. They've got a jail project coming up now. They have
Yeah,
a.
they do. They know how to spend money. Did I just mention that?
They've got projects, and they've also got a.
It all
The health
depends on how you
department.
present a proposal too, so.
Well,
leave it at that.
how do you, we asked them nicely, and I don't.
Still not spending money on our ambulance service in this community either. We get double taxed for, so, they have very interesting decisions to make, I guess.
I don't know.
Whatever.
I hate to dog
Did you
on.
propose the idea of them helping out with some of the work, labor-wise?
No, but we asked them, because they were worried that, or I think one of their concerns was they thought that we were maybe interested in them helping with the road, and then they would put it on
Their
the schedule, their maintenance schedule, like their other county roads, and,
Which is cheaper by mile than what we're doing now with chip and seal, mind you.
well, it is.
Yeah.
And I told them, I hate to speak for council, because I never know, but I did not think the council's intent was to have them maintain that road. Mainly, we just wanted some help with the initial installation of the road, basically.
Because a lot of non-citizens use those roads that are residents of the county.
Yeah.
So that would make sense that we would share in that, right?
Yeah, but I think part of their concern is that the roads we're talking about are not county road. They're city roads, where they're city township
They're
roads, but
nobody's
none of them are
roads,
county.
that's the problem.
Well, there
everybody
are
quotes.
roads, and they're the township's roads, but they're not the county's roads, and I get that. They're,
Never mind.
I know. Well, it's our, some of them, half is ours and half is a township, but none of it's county. They don't get the tax revenue from, well, they do, but
Yes,
not.
they do.
They do, but not.
Tax revenue.
But not that, the township is getting the tax, in their eyes, the township is getting the tax
Oh.
revenue. I know. But like I say, and I've said this before.
Still need to come up with
We
a
as a
plan.
city of Marysville, there are a lot of things that the county provides that, we pay taxes for, and we get the benefit of it. Whether it's the health department or the jail or those kind of things. The county roads, so you can get from city to city. I know. I'm just saying we asked, and there is one that is pretty open to the idea. Because how we tried to approach it was housing is a priority for not only the city of Marysville, but the county as a whole. And you can make the argument that if you could get a nice road out there, hopefully you would have more housing in that area. I don't know if they
Where you've already made the
quite
investment on
saw
the
that.
infrastructure.
Yeah, I
with the
know.
sewer.
Oh, yeah, we have.
Yep.
Yeah, the city spent a lot of money out there. But anyway, I just wanted an answer.
Keep working on that.
Okay.
Okay.
I just wanted to have kind of a concrete answer from the commissioners as far as whether that was a possibility or not. And I would say at this time, it's not a possibility. At least not with the current commissioner makeup.
Maybe when they get their jail done.
Could be, I mean, but they've got some big projects that they've gotta take on.
And they did a heck of a job getting a hell of a good grant to build that 11th Terrace Road out to their jail.
Yeah.
That was a hint.
Anyway, but I just thought that we would update council. Anything else on the street? Water, wastewater?
Yeah,
Yes.
running notices, every time it rains, that catch basin blows out of the ground.
A lot of water.
Huh?
It's a lot of water.
It didn't used to do that.
Is this in front of the old notices or the?
One
No, on the
On the highway.
And when on a good rain, it comes clear out to the yellow line, then overflows the highway and goes on across. That highway's got a pretty good curve in it across there. I don't care if we gotta hire somebody to come in and clean it, I don't think we have the equipment to do it.
I think we've cleaned it, and I don't think we've cambered it, so I don't know if something's collapsed, or, I mean, they've opened it up and it seems to go right back to being closed in again.
Well, maybe we need to get someone else up here to take care of it.
Something does,
Over here on Carolina, or whoever it was that we had.
I was gonna get Johnson, because I agree, we don't have a solution just yet. I was gonna get in touch with,
We got water
with,
lines we're trying to get in yet and stuff, and, Kent's so tied up with other stuff, let's just outsource it and get it done and taken care of.
okay, that's something I was talking with Jason about today. The plan as of, let's call it right now, is to get in touch with one of the contractors that normally comes in during our CAPP process. They clean, they video, they, see if they can give us a recommendation, show us what's down there, and give us a recommendation on what they think needs to happen. I'll get right on that.
Just correct me, all that water from there dumps into the big tube that goes down.
Nope.
It does not dump into the big tube that goes down 14th?
Well, there's not a big tube until, it goes across.
I think there's if I remember right, isn't there a tube that goes under the highway and basically under Salavi's parking lot?
It eventually gets to where you're
Yeah.
thinking, but it's
The
still,
tube that
it
goes
goes
down
from
in.
small to a little bit bigger to,
And then into that.
yeah, eventually.
Way out.
Eventually,
Yeah,
I was thinking of the big tube that goes right down the middle of the highway further this way, but.
Right.
Yeah. No, it eventually goes down 14th Street. You are correct.
And maybe it's just a little bit of sediment all the way along that's slowing it up.
I hope it's that easy.
But I don't know, but like I said, it's becoming a hazard now because it actually fills up enough, it's going over the crown of the highway.
That little house, this little stone house has a sinkhole, doesn't it?
Yes,
go
it
through
does.
That area right there?
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Oh, down.
Right across, right across.
That's
That's off of
That's a
Log.
different one, but
That's
there
a
is a
different
sinkhole in there.
Yeah,
That's on
Elm.
13th and
Elm.
Elm, yes, sir.
yeah.
Kinda convenient though, compared to,
That has a sinkhole in the house.
In the house?
Mm-hmm.
That sinkhole's been there a long time.
Yeah.
Yep.
This is not a new thing.
Like I said,
15
just
years ago, they looked at moving.
I don't think we got time to do it personally.
okay. I can get somebody else.
Just get it done.
I'll get it done.
Anything else on water, wastewater? Parks and Rec? Cemetery and airport?
Parks and Rec question.
Yep.
Have we got any resolution to the chunk that was out in the pool?
Not yet. The company has set up, us in their schedule for, one, the sand filters, and two, they got us on the books to, well, not yet. They're working on pricing for that portion of it. I had them come out and look at, everything, as far as the pool goes, and it was better than what I thought they were going to say. They're willing to do the caulking. They're willing to fix The
fall yet?
See, that's the thing. They want to get the caulking done. They'd like us to rip it out this fall, but get it done in the spring. Because, and if you want to talk to him, he gave me the explanation of why it's there and how it works. They're not concerned about freeze-thaw. They're more concerned about the kids getting out of the pool right there, dripping down and eroding the base that's there. That's what the caulking's for.
They're not the ones with the broken pool.
Yeah. I'd have to disagree with them on the freeze thaw. You get enough water going in there and that freezes up, it's gonna crack that concrete around those or crack them pipes.
I'm just relaying exactly what the pool installers have to say. He gave me a lot of insight on why they build the pools the way they do, or why not necessarily why we have a mess.
I say ours is 7 already, what are we talking about?
Right. That, they're still coming in, to fix that whole, or they should be coming in. They haven't given me a price yet, but whatever it is, we're gonna get them in here to get that fixed, because they're the ones who can get the diamond bright, and they do have the mason, people to get in there and fix that. Tile is another issue that was broken out. And besides that, and the sand filters, which they're gonna completely clean out and replace with sand, in there. They felt as long as there was no clogs in the chlorine lines or the acid lines, all the system was doing just fine. I think if we can get them back in, next year as we open it up, just to clarify some things. I think we can do better than what we did this last year. I know we can do better than what we did this last year, obviously, because hopefully we won't have.
I see we've blown it out already.
Right. We've winterized the chlorination sensors and all that has to do with the winterization.
Okay, anything else
The
on?
heater, they take it loose this year again?
Yeah. We heat tape it and around that heat exchanger, just as double precautions. And I think we're gonna leave some things on. I don't know if we left the heater on or not, but I think we were talking about just leaving the furnace run, so we can, that way it's cheaper to start up because we're not dealing with leaks in the roof or anything like that.
You ain't plates ordered. You
Yeah.
ain't plates for the north side of it yet?
The Parks Department was going to help with that. They haven't gotten to that portion just yet.
All right, anything else on Parks and Rec? Cemetery and Airport?
Yeah, on the airport, some of the new asphalt that we put down for the taxiways leaves gaps between the aprons, or the little, I don't know what you call them, offshoot taxiways that go to the hangars. I know at least 1 or 2 of them, there's a gap in between, kind of between pavement surfaces. I know some pilots are concerned about prop strikes or that sort of thing dipping down through those dips on smaller planes. So I don't know if that's something, we can do in-house or whether we contract out when we're already have something going on. It's kind of a small project.
Yeah.
But it'd be nice to get that kind of tied in because it a little bit defeats the purpose of that nice taxiway if the access from the hangars to that taxiway isn't.
Just asphalt?
Yeah.
Asphalt.
Okay, anything else on Cemetery and Airport? Police and Fire?
I know what you're saying.
Admin and Finance?
Oh, I had a police and fire. Oh, sorry.
Yes.
I don't know if, we just had a police committee meeting. I don't know if it's something where it falls on the police department, or where it would be, as far as, or working with the schools, bike and pedestrian safety. I know there was a child hit by a car on a bicycle. I know the police department's done a great job down at the gravel dash, getting helmets out to kids and doing that. I mean, that's great, but also kind of educating them on why it's important that they wear helmets. And this kind of ties into pedestrian safety. Some days I drive my kids to school down here, and we have those nice, pedestrian activated signals that are not as used as they should be. A lot of times I think it's more, they're looking at the phone and just going. And that's been, I guess, good enough, because as far as I know, nobody's gotten hit down there. But a little reinforcing of the safety protocols of using those, pushing that button, being careful at crosswalks and that sort of thing. I don't know if that's something we can maybe work with the school on from the PD side, but I think it would be good for all parties to do that. Since we're already helping with helmets and things, we could tie that in. And I think they did like a bike rodeo or something years ago.
Yeah, Timmy used to do it.
Yeah. Okay. And I think there's some local organizations that would probably help in that and be involved in that as well, so.
Kind of like they do the fire, bring the fire engine, we can bring the bike guys.
Yeah, it's a thing.
On the police and fire, did anybody hear that 4 vehicles were supposed to be broke into at Lakeview? For flag football on Saturday morning, broad daylight?
Yeah. I haven't heard that.
Heard all about it. Cameras at the fire station, they're no good.
Not good,
Zoom in, all you get is a bunch of pixels.
good enough resolution.
And that's the way.
You use good ones, got the same result. So I figured. Yeah, they're up looking for Ring doorbell information up in my neighborhood earlier. I don't think it's the locals from what I gathered.
Mr. Mayor? One thing at that one police committee meeting is the chief brought up, well, there's a way to maybe enhance the court costs to collect funds to help out for these type of special projects. And I was gonna bring this up during my session, but I have a little handout. It outlines where the court costs go and how they charge it. That's okay?
Yeah.
No, I'm not asking for any action, but get it. Here's more that way. And one like this. And it basically breaks down, our costs are $85 right now. And then I outlined the state charges. It adds up to $22.50. And the net, $62.50, would go into the general fund. Now, you can create, I haven't talked to the clerk about this, I was just thinking about how would you do that, create a component where some of these costs, let's say you bump the cost up to $100, well, maybe you want to keep your court system floating. When a ticket's filed, there are costs incurred, and I don't think those court costs have been adjusted for a while, but there may be a way to set aside a special fund where funds aren't appropriated but only funded through court costs. And so a special fund, if my understanding is, you don't appropriate dollars for, and it can be kept over a period of years. It's not really a item you budget for. It's part of the budget, but it's not. It's funded through a different mechanism, not through property taxes. So that gives you some idea of some of the costs. And
I will say that it just went around on the clerk's listserv. There are some cities that are as low as $70. There were a lot of cities that were $100 or $100, and they had an odd number like $108.50 or something. It was a crazy number, and some were $120. So and they were small towns and all different sizes, just so it gives you an idea where other towns are at. Yeah, and that is what Matt had asked for. If you could take $15 or something and put it in a fund they could use for school resources. Dare shirts or drug shirts or.
If you bumped up the court cost to $100, there's that $50. The council will be in charge of that money, of course, but could you do that and have a special fund? I think so. I don't think there's any statute prohibits you from creating a special fund to be funded by. It's like a special law enforcement fund. So I'm just throwing it out there, something to think about. I did watch the council meeting on, a little bit on the TV the other night. They kind of rehashed what went on. I don't think really went into much detail about what the chief's recommendations are. So that's just something to chew on and think about. But 2250 goes to the state.
Okay.
And that's all.
It goes where?
To the state of Kansas. It's fixed by state, statute. Provided the statutory sites there for you.
Well, I mean, what's council's thoughts? Is it something you'd like to look into?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
Right.
See if another city has any of those things. That they
Yeah, that would
created
probably
a
be
fund
nice. It'd
for.
be an
Okay.
idea what other cities, where their,
I can
the
talk
other
to the
cities are
auditor.
at. Mm-hmm. So just bring back some information for us next time on where their cities are. Right. Anything else on police and fire? Admin and finance? Okay, we don't have any appointments. We have the ordinance on marijuana and drug paraphernalia, on penalties.
Mr. Mayor, if I might
Yes.
add, I'm concerned people take this as attempt to legalize marijuana. It is not. And the question is, well, can you have more severe penalties than the state statute is? And I tried to find that out through reading a couple AG opinions. And the marijuana statute's called the Uniform Controlled Substance Act. Uniform is a word they used, and the intent is, the legislature, I think, is trying to be uniform and consistent to the state. So arguably, the city should follow state law, be consistent, because they preempted the field. That means, by preemption, I mean they kind of occupy it and determine what the penalties would be. For example, in city court, can a city judge impose a jail penalty for greater than 1 year? The answer is no, because the state has preempted the field and saying anything above a year is a felony, and you can only house somebody for over a year in a state prison. So by preempting, they kind of lock out the city from imposing a stiffer penalty, more than 1 year. You just can't do that. This one's a little more closer cut because there's a public safety issue here with marijuana. And so, but the penalties, it's just a matter of consistency. It would be nice to be consistent with state law. They moved down to whatever public policy reason they saw at the time, moved it from an A to a B. And then I know some cities have attempted, or some police departments are trying, worried about decriminalizing it because there's so many of these cases and it overwhelms the system. I don't think we have that problem in Marysville per se, but it'd be nice to be consistent with a penalty. It's a B misdemeanor. It's a B misdemeanor in Manhattan. It's a B misdemeanor in Topeka. It's a B misdemeanor. I probably should be in the same thing in Marysville. So I'm just trying to say it should be consistent with state law. It's easier to justify. You don't get an argument, well, hey, you guys are outside the state. You guys, it's unconstitutional. You've been preempted. Why have that argument when it's pretty straightforward what the state has done? I did at the end talk about current penalties. Under the traffic code, a law was passed last year that says if it's undue hardship, the judge can mitigate against some of the penalties. And I include that here because there's some $3,000 penalties out there that are still pending, and send it off to collection. It's just it's something that we can work with, and then I'm trying community service with those people. I'm trying to work off instead of paying, maybe they could do some pick up trash or do some work in lieu of paying a monetary fine. So I've included that in there. So I prepared an ordinance to basically change the penalty from an A misdemeanor to a B. Under an A misdemeanor, the maximum penalty would be $2,500 fine or 1 year in jail or both fine and imprisonment. Under a B, it's 6 months in jail or $1,000 fine or by both fine and imprisonment. So it is a jump down from the maximum penalties.
questions, discussion from council? Okay, somebody want to make a motion?
Move to approve,
Be 1913.
move to approve, ordinance number 1913.
Second.
Okay. Any further discussion? Roll call?
Fry,
Yes.
Keating,
Yes.
Snellings,
Yes.
Bikeman,
Yes.
Price,
Yes.
Barons,
Yes.
Crum,
Yes.
7-0.
Okay. All right.
Mr. Mayor, one more
Yes.
thing.
Yes.
The city administrator visited with me a couple weeks ago about the lots in the west part of town that are open spaces.
Yeah.
And
Talking about the buyout lots?
yeah, you're right.
Okay.
And so the question is, how do you really explain that? Well, it relates back to preemption. Here, the federal government's preempted the field. Once it's deeded into the system, the U.S. government has preempted state and local authorities from taking any action. Well, is that cast in concrete? Not necessarily so, but not to be jovial about it, but it takes an act of Congress. Literally, it does. By preemption, they set the policy, and as the land management, the bureaucracy has to follow those precepts. The only way to change it is for Congress to step in and say, we provide this exception. And so to get that exception, you have to work with your senators, your congressmen, and see if they're willing to do it. Obviously, I'm sure other communities have faced the same thing when the floodplain changes. Is it an easy task? Maybe not. Can it be done? Possibly, but it's a difficult road to hoe. So I've just tried to help elaborate, try to put it in more simple terms about what happens when the federal government steps in and preempts. And they basically occupy the field, and our home rule authority doesn't give us any power to go above and beyond the federal government. Not to say it's not a bad idea. It sounds like a great idea, but it's how to lobby and argue for that with your state, U.S. senator and your U.S. congressman. Does that help kind of explain it?
Well, I was trying to explain it when I went to one of our local congressman's office, or
Okay.
called him up. They wanted a layman's term
right.
explanation for what I was asking for, and that's the challenge I was facing. They asked me to ask my attorney to give a layman's term so they could pass it along,
We'll follow up on that.
Okay.
It's just a basic
Yeah.
law of preemption at the federal level.
Right.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
All right, thank you. We probably do need to have an executive session.
You tell them what regarding.
Regarding probably land acquisition / litigation.
You got the, he's
No,
got that. He's got
I gave
Somebody has it.
How long? How long?
15 minutes, you think? Kevin's looking at me like,
Save it's gonna
20?
be longer before I'm done reading.
make it 20.
Okay.
I want enough.
All right.
So it'll be
8:20, make it 8:20.
I move the city council recess into executive session for consultation with the attorney on matters deemed privileged in an attorney-client relationship about litigation or claims against the city to KSA 75-4319B2 and the acquisition of real estate, exception KSA 75-4319B6. This session will include the mayor, city council, city administrator. The open meeting will resume at the city council chamber at 8:20.
And city attorney.
And city attorney.
I thought he said that.
And city attorney then.
Yeah.
Cover it. I see where I got it.
Have a second?
Second.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
You don't like them?
I haven't,
Did we hear
Mike's
from the
back on.
auditor?
but I just.
Excuse me?
Did we hear from the auditor?
Nope, absolutely not.
her an email.
Oh, did you?
Okay, call this meeting back to order. No binding decisions were made. We will continue as scheduled.
What's the round table?
Well, I think we need another,
Oh, sorry.
we need another 5 minutes, you think?
Nope, I don't think so.
No? Okay. We'll move on to, roundtable then. Todd?
Nothing.
Jeff?
I had a lady contact me
Yes.
about the 4-H group.
Okay.
So these kids are trying to get, she says it's not called their government thing anymore, it's like leadership. So she said, you know, like kids can go to the state capitol and be pages for a day to earn this award. She was wondering if there's anything the city has that these kids can come in and help do for a few hours to earn this leadership.
We can
I
possibly
didn't
think,
know.
I just probably would need some more parameters. We could probably figure something out.
Maybe. They can sit by Jeff, they'll be shocked.
I don't think we want that.
Seriously, if we can come up with some parameters and
I'd like a
come
city
up with
page,
something.
that'd be great.
Yeah. I don't know. I told her I'd bring it up and ask, and then I'd let her
Yeah,
know.
I think we'd figure out something.
Well, and
We can
then-
see what is required for this badge first and see if we can fit
And I
something
have her
into
number
it.
here if you would.
Okay, that'd be great.
Because I know, when I was at Government Day last year, which is in January, Olivia Richardson had submitted an essay and she got an award for that. And then she and some of the other kids that did were pages that day too, I think, or were pages another day.
Yeah, they're just looking for something local.
Local, they don't want to go to Topeka.
Yeah, because you have to be chosen to be a page, I think. Takes a
It'd be
little bit
good to get them more involved in city government and know what things are, probably a future city council person.
We can see what their parameters are.
Okay. Anything else?
No.
Keith?
Tennis courts look good.
I've heard that.
They
I
did a good
haven't
job on
seen
it.
them, but I've heard they look nice.
I think maybe, we could probably write a thank you letter to the people that built it in such a short time frame. They worked their butt off to get it done, so.
You mean the company who did it? You
Well,
want?
Yeah,
all of them.
Well, I already did one to Chad
Okay, well,
because he needed a receipt saying he'd given the gift,
okay.
but I can,
Company as well, those guys were really down there burning the midnight oil.
okay?
And there's gonna be a lot of people in town Friday for a regional tennis or something, I think.
I think Friday and Saturday morning.
Yeah.
League, and then regionals or something.
It's league, I think. League is this week and then regionals is homecoming weekend.
Yeah.
I think that's correct.
Oh,
Next 2 weekends then.
I was thinking this was homecoming weekend here, but it's not. It's not till next week. Hanover's this weekend.
Okay.
That's all I got.
All right. Parker?
Nothing.
Nothing. Colleen? Kevin?
Nothing tonight, Mr. Mayor.
All right. I do not have anything.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? 7.